What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Um, I apologize again for not hitting Monday, but it is what it is. Been sick again. Usually this season is where I get the sickest, where I'm like most affected with all that pollen and all that kind of crap in the air. Not crap, beautiful stuff, right? It spreads flowers and stuff like that, bringing of new life, right? And it just gets trapped in my lungs. I was born with asthma. Nothing I could do about that, right? My mom was a smoker, but then she like quit later on when we were older, and it didn't help that I smoked, right? That I smoked cigarettes when I was at even a young age, right? Older cousins had it, smoked cigarettes with them, whatever. Reach adulthood, smoking cigarettes then too. 18, 18 was the legal age to smoke for me back then, and I was, to be honest, I was smoking before then. Had alcohol before 18, stuff like that. Had a had a story about it, which a lot of people have stories where they drink when they're severely underage, which happens when, it's your family members, your parents, or whoever's drinking, and they pass out. It's not uncommon for kids to try to drink that because they don't know what it is. Might think it was pop, just like in my situation. Excuse me, sorry about that, but it's going to happen, and it does happen, and to some cases worse than others. And you got to count your blessings if especially if the situation's bad for you. Like you remember when you were real young, your family was like abusive or something, and then all of a sudden it got better, and you realized as you got older that it was because they quit drinking, that they quit doing drugs or something like that, and that maybe your parents got their lives together. It might never happen, but in some cases it does. Some people, they talk about stuff like that. So you got to count your blessings, and that's going to come up to this next ramble of, sometimes your biggest obstacle is going to be yourself, right? It usually is you who hold you back, who says you can't do it, says you can't do anything like that, that you need these certain substances to continue forward, right? I'll use a prime example of people that smoke cigarettes, right? They're always like, oh man, I wish I could smoke. I could quit doing this, quit doing that. But, I'd be cranky. I'd be angry. I'll be, whatever. Same with alcohol, right? Same with smoking weed or whatever. And they're chemically dependent on it. That they're dependent on that mind altering effect on there. That to them, it's making them better. It's enhancing them, or something like that, right? That's making their mood better. You may think that it is, and of course you're going to say that because these things are addictive because of some of the things that they do to you, right? They make you feel euphoric. They make you feel a little bit better, even though it's making things worse, right? Not well. Who knows what it is for marijuana? They link it to heart disease, but who knows if these people are like preconditioned to those, right? Or something like that. But it's extremely possible. I want to rule it out, right? Just because people don't want to believe it doesn't mean that they're not linked. It doesn't mean any of that and stuff like that. Because they're linked to the munchies, so it could be some people overeating. There you go, right there. That's not all of it, but oversimplification of a big dummy like myself, right? But I know when I used to waste my time sitting there expecting things to fall into my lap, expecting for things to happen, expecting for me to be better by just sitting around smoking dope and playing video games only, that you have to come to a realization that it's not going to fall in your lap. It's not, none of that stuff's going to happen to you unless you go out and do something about it, right? How do you get better? You got to acquire new skills. You got to train. Nobody likes, changing anything, but Change is gonna hurt at first, but you're gonna realize that it's gonna be for the best, right? Nothing's gonna change if you don't make the changes yourself, and that's gonna take you actively trying to pursue those things, right? Not sitting around feeling bad for yourself and blaming the man or blaming whomever, right? Because of your failures. It's you yourself, you know. It's you who is holding you back because you're in your head. You're thinking this, that. It's everybody's fault. Blah 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 blah. But it's you, you know. It's always going to be you. And I always refer to my Uncle Mark, but he always talked about how our biggest person to hold us back is ourselves. Nobody can kick your ass as much as you can kick your own ass. You know, it's not even in a physical sense, right? It's on the inside. They may take your body, but they'll never be able to kick your mind like you can, right? Psychological warfare is way more damaging than anything by far for physical stuff. Well, I say that just because I don't have any ailments. But, you know, at least if you're thinking in a positive mindset and you can put your mind to it, you believe you can do it. You believe you can overcome. But if you can't get over that mental barrier, you've already lost. You've already lost, right? And that's what they refer to. It isn't, you know, I'm not trying to, this is my opinion, right? It's not that it's against certain things, but whatever, you know what I mean, you know what I'm talking about. But if you have the means to try to change it and you want to change it, you got to do it. You know, it's no matter what it takes. You got to go to school. You got to take certain trainings. You got to take classes. Any kind of opportunity that pops up, right? I'll use some examples of almost every job, every workplace I've ever worked, right? What's the biggest thing most people want? They want more money. They want more cheddar, but they don't want to do more work. They don't want to do what the next step entails. And sometimes they do, you know, I'm not saying that. Sometimes you got to, when you do work, this is my own experience for this as well, that you could do everything right. You can do whatever, and you might think that somebody's getting pulled up before you who wants to do less than you, that isn't putting in as much hard work as you. But, you know, you don't watch them the whole time. You don't know what they're doing. But second of all, your time's coming. All you got to do is keep going, keep working hard. Guaranteed people see that, you know. Don't give up from that. And never give up from it, right? It's easy to think that because that's us beating ourselves up mentally, thinking that we're not going to go anywhere, that it's all for nothing, that, you know, stuff like that. You're going to defeat yourself, and you're going to create this image and make it harder for yourself day in and day out, right? Day in and day out, you're thinking negatively. It's going to keep spreading, and it's gonna get worse for you. Your hours are gonna feel like years, and your minutes are gonna feel like hours. I've been there before, you know. I've been there with coworkers who are extremely toxic, and then they get to you. They get in your mind. That this stuff spreads like a plague, right? It spreads to everybody in the area. Everybody's miserable. Everybody's thinking negatively, even though they're over there, sunshines, rainbows on that side. You know, it's what it is. You know, you're like, oh, fuck those guys, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then you just realize that, why am I feeling like this? Why am I even listening to this? You know, I'm just going to put my earphones in. I'm going to get to work, and I'm going to ignore all that negativity. That shit don't matter. That's holding me back because it's making me not believe in myself, making me not believe in the work that I'm putting forth, you know, things like that. So for things to change, sometimes it takes changing that mindset. Easier said than done always. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It doesn't mean that any of that kind of shit. So And these are, like I said, this is all in my own opinion. These are some of the things I have to overcome, and I still continue to overcome. And I see others around me too trying to overcome. It doesn't, as you move up certain ladders, there's always more steps to move up. Unless if you, I guess you own a business yourself, but there's social ladders, I don't know because I've never been into that stage. I've never been there for myself, right? I can only speak off of the obstacles that have come to me in my life that I'm sure that aren't so uncommon, right? And you see a lot of other people struggle. You see a lot of people, especially if you've been to like many jobs in your life, if you've been to jumping from state to state, job to job, you can't seem to hold it down. You think you're going nowhere. You're running in the mud. You're running in place, right? And you're going nowhere fast. And you can't seem to break this barrier, which isn't really a barrier anywhere else, but right there in your mind, right? And sometimes it's involved with the people that surround you. Sometimes it's just what you feel like on the inside, what you're thinking about, and how you view what you're doing towards anything that you're doing in life, right? If you believe it to be futile, that's what it's going to be. If you believe it to be something that helps change things, you're gonna work a little bit harder, right? You're gonna work towards that thing with a little pep in your step. So I guess sometimes it takes a little bit of optimism and stuff like that, but it's never going to be easy. It's always going to be tough, and then the grind never stops, no matter where you're at. Just because you move up doesn't mean you're going to be happy. Just because you got promoted or something, it isn't going to make you happier. It isn't going to make life better for you. What is going to be being a little bit more optimistic and striving towards those little goals in your life, and knowing that no matter what, that hard work will pay off. Being, you don't have that negativity. You're not holding you back. You're helping yourself feel better. And that's the hard part, though. Sounds easy. It always sounds easy when people talk about it. It even sounds easy when I listen back to myself say it, because I know that it's not that fucking easy, right? So, but anyways, hope you guys had a great one, and I hope to see you guys next ramble. Again, I'm sorry. I apologize for being late, but I was a little sick and stuff like that. So, till next time, I'll see you guys next ramble. And if you're new here, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I appreciate it. And if anybody wants to get in touch with me, hit me up at cloudslayer53@gmail.com. You want to do a podcast or something to talk about some cool stuff? Dude, I'm always down, It's been a minute since I did a podcast and stuff like that, but it is what it is, right? Just hit me up, let me know. We're always down to hear stories and really cool experiences and hearing, your opinions on things. We all differ. We're all gonna always differ in this world. So, but anyways, took up enough of your guys' time. Peace out.